Hey beautiful people, I know if you've come across my video, this is not the first video that you have seen when it comes to books that I recommend you to read in the new year. However, I'm not going to lie to you and tell you that these books are going to be life-changing, but something I'm going to tell you is, if you read these books or you take the time to read these books, they're going to add to your knowledge. They're going to change in your perspective of how you think and you see life. And also, a person who reads is a person that lives longer, because knowledge is power and is key regardless of where you get it from. Okay, before we start off with book number one, if my audio is a little bit shaky, it's because my laptop will not turn on, so I'm unable to produce good audio and use my microphone, so we're just using the camera microphone just in case. Okay, anyways, let's start with book number one. So book number one is Lessons in Stoicism, and this is by John Sellers. This very particular book, I've started off by showing this book because it is a tiny small book, so it doesn't put you off. It's very easy to read, and when I say easy to read, I don't say easy to read in pages, but easy to read in understanding and grasping information as well, because that's one of the things that I always tick off when I'm recommending books. Now, this very particular book is sort of a philosophy type of book that tells you about perspectives of life and things that you can control and things that you cannot control. This book capitalizes on how you can live a very good life in a difficult world. It also talks about things like, if you can't control something, you can't immerse all your energy into that particular thing that you cannot control. Now, I've highlighted this book a lot. I don't know if you can see, if the camera can show you, but I've highlighted this book quite a lot and I've written a lot of notes in it. Now, let me read some of the things that I love about this book. It does say, it asks you a question. It says, what aspects of your life do you really control? Do you control the weather, or when you get ill or not? Do you ever decide to be involved in an accident? Can you stop your loved ones dying? Do you get to choose whom you fall in love with and who falls in love with you? Can you guarantee your own worldly success? How much control do you really have over any of these things? What it's trying to say is that there are a lot of things in life you cannot control. You can't control when your parent dies. You can't control when you can be successful. You can't control when you get ill, when you cannot get ill. You can't control when your kids will die, or when you will die yourself. You can't control that you're gonna fall down the next minute. There's certain things in life that you cannot control, and if you cannot control them, you have to let go of them. Now, it gives examples here. It says the things that we can control, they're the things in our power, what you can do. Okay, for example, our judgments, our impulses if I say well, our desires, pretty much everything else is just out of our own control. Now, I said this in here because it says things like, we can control our minds, but we cannot control the world around us. We can control our thoughts, but not material things such as bodies or possessions. Now, I read this book and it just brought a different perspective on life. It literally says that we can strive to act as best as we can, but we can never completely control the outcome. If we tie our happiness to achieving the outcome, we run the risk of being frequently disappointed. But if we make our goal simply doing the best we can, then nothing can get in our way. That is why you find some people, they ask you like, how are you doing in life? They're saying, I'm doing the best that I can, because that's the only best thing that you can ever do in life. Okay, so it goes on and on and on and explain, and I've highlighted it in so many ways, and this book is not too expensive as well. It's just a good read. I'm just trying to see if I can find some of the good highlights that I did, because I'm the type of girl that highlights quite a lot of things. Here's another one. When are we ever tested if we never experience any difficulties? How will we ever develop the virtue of patience, courage, or resilience if everything always goes well? There is no worse luck than unending luxury and wealth, which will serve only to make us lazy, complacent, ungrateful, and greedy for more. This is real misfortune. By contrast, whatever adversity life throws at us will always be an opportunity to learn something about ourselves and to improve our character. I can recommend you this book 1,000 and a million times, but it's up to you if you want to pick it up. But if you read this book, please let me know in the comments. Please send me a message on Instagram, because this, I could say, would be life-changing, but this is going to change your perspective on life, about certain things, the way you see them, and the way you react to things in life. Okay, let's go into book number two. The next book I'm going to share with you, it sounds like a broken record, and I'm saying a broken record because I feel like every single year when you start the year, this is one of the books that you should pick up and read to give you a certain insight of certain habits. Sometimes in life, we're not successful because we become a habit of bad things. I don't want to say bad habits because this very particular book says there's no such thing as bad habits or good habits. It's always the end result of whatever outcome has come out of that particular thing that you've done, if I've made sense there. But all I'm saying is that there are certain things in life you have to change in order to get success in life. You cannot carry on doing the same things every day and expect to be successful. You expect certain things to change. You can't expect to lose weight, for example, by your eating habits, your sleeping habits, your daily habits are the same every single day. Something needs to change for that change to happen. You know, for example, if you said to yourself you want to lose a certain amount of weight, okay, the way you eat has to change, the way you sleep has to change, the time as well that you give to yourself has to change. So what I'm saying that is that I'm talking about this book because I know this book is one of the most sold books, the most read book, and one of, I don't want to say Gen Z, or a lot of people do talk about this book, or a lot of people do tell you to grab this book. Some people just talk about it because it's just an it book, but for me, I have read it. I've read it intensely well, and I can tell you this book is very good. And this book that I'm sharing with you is called Atomic Habits by James Clear, and it has sold over 3 million copies so far. Now this book, I've highlighted I don't even know how I can share it with you, show you there, but I've highlighted a lot of things in here. Now, the reason as why this book is called Atomic Habits, let me just read some of the quotes in here before we get to the aspect of why this book literally is called Atomic Habits to my own understanding, okay? It says, too often we convince ourselves that massive success requires massive action. Whether it is losing weight, building a business, writing a book, winning a championship, or achieving any other goals, we put pressure on ourselves to make some earth-shattering improvement that everyone else will talk about. Now that explains why this book is called Atomic Habits, because James Clear capitalizes on the fact that changing the small tiny habits in your life can make a whole massive change. Some people think that, oh, I need to move to another country, and when I move to another country, everything else is going to change in my life. For some reason, I'll see a new perspective of things. But sometimes just a small little change, maybe move out of your town and go to another town, maybe travel around your own, country. Maybe making that small little change will make you understand, oh, I don't really have to move to another big country to make that massive change. But if I make those small tiny changes, then maybe I can see a different perspective of life. He also says that if you can get 1% better each day for 1 year, you will end up 37 times better by the time you are done. Conversely, if you get 1% worse each day for 1 year, you will decline nearly down to 0. What starts as a small win or a minor setback accumulates into something. Every little thing adds up. I'll give you a very good example that relates to all of us. If every single day you're going to sleep, let's say today you go to sleep, you have 6 hours, tomorrow you have 7 hours, the other day you have 4 hours, and the other day you're like 3 hours, then you're back to 7 hours. At the end of that month, you are going to be tired, drained, sick. You may not see the difference in that week. So on Monday you sleep 5 hours, on Tuesday you sleep maybe 4, on Wednesday 7, you go on sleeping like that 4 hours, 3 hours. By the end of that week, you may not feel anything. Then week 2 comes in. When week 2 drops, you start feeling the effects of that sleep that you've been lacking. It's not today that you do something that you see the bad result of it. It's continuously. It's the same thing as when I use the word weight a lot because a lot of people can relate to it. It's the same thing like when people say, oh, I cannot eat a burger because I'm on diet, I'm trying to lose weight. It's not the fact that you're eating that burger today that you're going to gain weight or you're going to get fat. It's the fact that if you eat that burger today, tomorrow, the day after, the next day, the next week, that is when all that junk food will build and accumulate and then add that weight. It's not a 1-day thing or a 2-day thing. It's a continuous thing that you continuously do every single day that would actually give you that result that you're so afraid of having, okay? So the book itself, it gives you even cues of how to do things because it says if you want to do certain things, you have to create certain cues. I'm going back to the same thing to do with weight. If you want to go to the gym very early in the morning, you start the night before by preparing your gym clothes. Fold them, put them on the side. Put your shoes on the side. Put your water on the side. Get your gym membership card. Put it just, you know, besides your bed. Wake up in the morning. Set your alarm at that very time. When you wake up in the morning, I guarantee you this, as I'm saying this to you, is that if you wake up in the morning and your thought of looking for where your gym clothes are to go to the gym overweighs you, you're not going to go to that gym. But when you wake up in the morning and you see your gym clothes there, you see your shoes there, you see everything ready, you're more likely to get up, get dressed, off you go to the gym. The same thing with your medication. If you plan to take your supplements every single day, the best thing you can do is have your supplements lying on your bedside. So when you wake up in the morning, chances are, you may not, but chances are 80% of the time you'll pick up those supplements and take them. But if your supplements are hidden away in a cupboard somewhere, chances are you're going to forget to actually take those supplements. And what happens? Day after day, night after night, then you've forgotten about the habits that you find very important. Because he says, if you want to make a habit a big part of your life, make the cue a big part of your environment. The most persistent behaviors usually have multiple cues. Consider how many different ways a smoker could be prompted to pull out a cigarette, driving in the car, seeing a friend smoke, feeling stressed at work, and so on. The same strategy can be employed for good habits. By sprinkling or triggering throughout your surroundings, you increase the odds that you think about your habit throughout the day. Make sure that the best choice is the most obvious one. Making a better decision easy and natural when cues for good habits are in front of you. So basically, it's just changing a little bit of things around you, changing your environment. And yeah, this book is just, I just want you to read this book. Just read this book, pick it up this year. First thing when this year starts, pick it up, read it, tell me what you think about it. And I guarantee you, you'll love it. Now, if you've got to this part, if you've got to this point of the video, I just want to say that I'm going to be doing a giveaway, okay? I'll be giving away 2 books to 2 lucky, viewers, one of you, and the book is going to be Atomic Habits. That very particular book, I want you to read that book, but the only thing that you have to do is that you need to leave a comment on this video. You need to share this video on your Instagram and tag me. Then I'll be able to see that. Just share, leave a comment here, tag me, and I'll send you a book free of charge. You don't have to pay anything at all, okay? The book will be yours. All right? Okay. That's for the people that have got to this part of the video. Let's get into the next book. Our next book here is called That's So Bold of You by 𝐃𝐈𝐒𝐂𝐋𝐀. Now this book, chef's kiss. Yeah, chef's kiss. I cannot recommend this book 1,000,001 times. This book builds confidence in a different perspective of life, okay? I don't know how to even explain to you. It talks about choosing yourself every single day intentionally, okay? Realizing that confidence does not come from being liked, but confidence comes from liking yourself first, okay? It's just one of those books that I feel like every woman should kind of like read. I don't know why I say women, but he talks about that real confidence comes from being willing to disappoint others in order to be true to yourself, okay? Not in a manipulative way, okay? It also says that clarity is kinder than avoidance. Saying what you mean, setting boundaries, walking away from situations that don't align with your values isn't selfish, it's honest. The discomfort of being misunderstood is often the price of living authentically. That's from my notes that I wrote down, okay? In this book as well, and Kenny also emphasizes that waiting for confidence is a trap. You have to build that confidence by acting, by performing that action. We don't become confident overnight, but we build that confidence every day by putting ourselves in an uncomfortable situation. There is something called trauma exposure, and trauma exposure is getting that thing that you're so afraid of and putting it out there every single day, working on it every single day in order to build yourself. That is being bold, because I tell you that there's some people who are afraid of public speaking, okay? That they don't have any confidence in it, but every single day when you start talking to 1 friend, 2 friends, maybe a gathering of your family members, little by little you're exposing that thing that you're not so confident about, that traumatic thing, over and over again. Then you build your confidence like that. It's not about waiting for it to come. It will never come. It's about you acting on that particular thing. No one is coming to save you apart from yourself. We are our greatest enemies. You are your greatest enemy. I am my greatest enemy, because we are the people that choose to manipulate our own selves. We allow situations to happen to us. We make choices every single day. We allow people to come and step over us. We allow people to treat us the way they would like to treat us, even if we're not comfortable with it. So everything comes from that aspect of what choice are you making and what things are you allowing. So don't be your greatest enemy, be your greatest best friend, be your most confident person, or your confidant kind of thing, and just be bold. Yeah, but how can you say just be bold? So yeah, that's it. I'm going to share with you this book, the most controversial book. So book number 4 is one of the most controversial books that I ever found on the internet, and it beats me why this book is one of the most controversial books, but I do understand. And for me, as much as I may share this book and a lot of people may say no, Lucy, I'm still saying yes, because that is me. Anyway, it's Rich Dad Poor Dad. Now, if you're getting into things to do with stocks, investment, money, income, and all that kind of thing, I believe that this book is a very good starter. It's a good starter because it shows you a perspective of how rich people think and how money works. Being born in a family that is poor and being born in a rich family, they are two different people. They operate differently. Both of them are working hard. What this book gets to teach you is that these two families are both working hard. One family is rich, one family is average, not poor, I'll just say average according to me what I read. This guy is working hard, this other guy is working hard. They are both working hard, but the results are different because of the mindset of how the rich family thinks and the mindset of how the poor family thinks. Because Robert Kiyosaki's family, like for example, the dad was working 9 to 5 every single day, not to miss. He was not calling in sick. He was working every single day and he was earning that money. Whilst the other rich dad, his rich friend's dad, was working hard as well, but the results are different. And he kept on questioning, why is it like this? But he came to realize that there are a lot of things that are not spoken about when it comes to money that we don't teach our children. And I am someone that say that I want to say this on a personal level. When I give birth to my children, there are certain things I'll teach them that I wasn't taught at a younger age, so when they get older they don't struggle with these kind of things, you know. But anyways, when it comes to this book, it teaches you a lot of things when it comes with assets and liabilities. It talks about things like assets is something that does not take money out of your pocket. A liability is something that takes money out of your pocket constantly. There is a controversial conversation in here where it talks about that owning a house is more of a liability than an asset, because you spend most of your time repairing things in that house, you know, fixing this, fixing that, paying for that, which means that money is coming out of your pocket every single time, and it becomes a liability rather than it becoming an asset. It says an asset is something that no, I don't want to say tangible, but it's something that literally does not take that much money out of your pocket. And it says learn more to acquire assets than to have liabilities. Things that take money out of your pocket become a liability. Let me read some of the quotes in here that I love. It says, the love of money is the root of evil. The other said, the lack of money is the root of all evil. The love of money is the root of all evil. The lack of money is the root of all evil. Let's leave it at that. One of the reasons why the rich get richer, the poor get poorer, and the middle class struggle in debt is that the subject of money is taught at home, not in school. Most of us learn about money from our parents. So what can poor parents tell their child about money? They simply say, stay in school, study hard. The child may graduate with excellent grades, but with a poor person's financial programming and mindset, sadly, money is not something that is taught. What he's trying to say is that when you come from a poor family, there is little that your parents can teach you. They can tell you, oh, hold on a minute, go to school, graduate, get a degree, be a doctor, be a lawyer, you get money, your life is sorted. But then he says that think about this other perspective, whereby you come from a family where your parents challenge you to go out there and do things that are outside school, that are outside going to study. I'm not saying school is not bad, but it's like expand the knowledge on that, okay? Let's not talk so much about it, you know? He says that poor people have this aspect of like, I can't afford it. The other dad, the rich dad, told the child that, I forbid those words to be used. You cannot say you can't afford something. He insisted, ask yourself, can I afford it? Rather than saying, I can't afford it, can I afford it? It says language matters when it comes to money. The way you speak about money, the way you bring it upon yourself, it really matters. It's going to give you a perspective of money, an idea of money, of what money is. Money is not about, people think that getting rich, I'm not rich, but what I've come to understand is that people think getting rich and having money is working hard. But no, your mindset about how you see money, how you talk about money is also so important on how successful and how unsuccessful you can be in life, okay? So anyways, Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki is one book that I would say read it just for the basic of understanding when it comes to your mindset, and then move on to other books like The Psychology of Money that a lot of people talk about, and all the other kind of business terms of money and things like that, okay? Cool. So the last and final book is Open When by Julia Smith. Now, I love this book, and you know that I'm a fan of Julia Smith's books because I find that her books are like therapy in a book, which is kind of nice. I do have one of her other books, which is Why Has Nobody Told Me This Before? And this book, I don't even know why I've not recommended you these two books as a duo together. Let's just do it again. Okay, these two books together are a duo that I feel like you can have. If you don't know who Dr. Julia Smith is, you need to go and research about her because she is good. Now, this very book about Open When, this book is like, it says open this book when you're dealing with difficult people, you're dealing with friends who are not your friends, you're under pressure, fear of showing up, or you struggle to say no. Let me read some of the quotes in here. It says that if you find yourself feeling unwelcome or questioning whether you belong, you may be tempted to adjust yourself to fit in. There is nothing wrong with that, and we all do it in small ways every day, but it carries with it an assumption you have made about the value of this group. What happens when your acceptance is conditional on you lying about what you believe in to be true, or maybe being a part of a group that demands you to do things you're uncomfortable with and pretend to be someone you're not? This type of situation starts to feel less like belonging and much more like manipulation. So you know that aspect of like when you try to fit in a group of people or friends and all that kind of thing, and you try to change yourself, it's just trying to say to you that never change yourself for people or for a group of people who make you feel uncomfortable and step out of your own self, unless it's something that has to help you in the long run. So she literally says that when you're reading this book, read it with a pinch of salt because it teaches you so much about yourself. For example, she says here, if your focus is simply to avoid rejection, you spend your time trying to remain invisible and likely feel disconnected from everyone. You fear rejection, you don't want to be rejected, so you spend most of your life trying for people to accept you. You don't want anyone to say no to you, okay? That kind of thing. So I would say that this book is one of those books that you can read and it feels like a warm hug, but this book is read a chapter a day. I don't think it's one that you can digest within one go. Just read a chapter a day and I promise you it will be life-changing. I'm telling you this free of charge, okay? Yeah, life-changing, all right? So these are the books that I recommend for the start of the year when you're starting to read, and let me know if you have read these books or you think there are other books that I can add onto the list. And I'm only starting with this because I find that they're easy reads, they're not too heavy, they're not too much, and you can easily digest them. But yeah, let me know. That was the list that I got. But thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Share. Don't forget that book giveaway because 2 books will be going to 2 of you Atomic Habits books. And all you have to do is to literally leave a comment, share on your Instagram, tag me so I know that you've done that, and make sure that I'm able to send you messages on Instagram. Otherwise, then I won't be able to get to you. But anyway, thank you so much for watching. Until next time, bye. Out of your own mouth. So I would say that this book is just